there's a lot of news that I want to talk about today, the least of which is something that a number of people have asked me about this morning. And, Joan, I know that you just spoke about this, where Donald Trump is now reacting and responding to Barack Obama. I guess Obama, and I've got the audio, where former President Obama in some sort of a podcast, he was asked the question about aliens. This is what he said.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51.
So he literally said aliens are real.
Why doesn't he know Area 51? Like, honestly, everybody knows that.
I think he knows Area 51. I think that, Joan, as men age, they start to forget things like the title of Area 51 or their locker combination
Their
at work.
locker combination, yes. Okay.
Anyway, so have we ever had a president? I'm trying to think of, and by the way, I did try to call Brian. I sent him a text, Joan, and I called him, and no answer. How dare he sleep in? Anyway.
He's got you on block. He's like when your phone number comes up, it's blocked.
Well, he's not the first person to block me, moving right along. So, but have we ever had a president that has said that aliens are real? I don't know if we have. But I mean,
so.
But that's the little nugget of classified information that Barack Obama apparently said, yeah, aliens are real.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
So I watched, Joan, that Age of Disclosure. That featured, by the way, none other than, Tennessee's own Tim Burchett.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that they said, you haven't seen it, right?
I have not.
All right, neither has Sam. But one of the things that they stated in Age of Disclosure is that presidents don't always know. They don't always tell the presidents about the aliens because presidents are on a need-to-know basis. And if a president is, hauled into Congress or whatever, and they're under oath and they start getting questioned about the alien investigations that are going on within the federal government, well, the president is not going to have the opportunity to, give the company line or whatever it is. They've got to tell the truth. So presidents are actually on a need-to-know basis. So Barack Obama, apparently he did. You just heard him say that, yeah, aliens are real, but he hasn't seen them, and he pretended not to know what Area 51 is. But, the former President Obama literally said that aliens are real. And that is apparently the classified information.
So no other presidents have said aliens are real outright, but apparently Jimmy Carter reported seeing a UFO in the 60s and 70s, but explicitly said he never believed it was from outer space. And then Ronald Reagan mused hypothetically in a 1987 UN speech that, quote, an alien threat from outside this world could unite humanity. But that was obviously speculative.
Do you believe, because there is clear, well, all right, I'm going to say it this way. To me, I believe there is clear evidence that there are UFOs, that there is other life out there. If you watch Age of Disclosure, and I do believe what was presented in Age of Disclosure, you have these orbs, or whatever you want to call them, and part of what they do, Joan, they seem really interested, and I know I've reported on this before, but they seem really interested in our nuclear facilities. As a matter of fact, people have said that they can manipulate our nuclear facilities. They could turn computers on and off.
I've seen that in experiments conducted at Skinwalker Ranch out in Utah, where random bursts of radiation, random changes to radio frequencies that would otherwise, there'd be no way to randomly disturb it in a short time, the way these things occur. Just random energies that dissipate, and then they find these metals buried in the mesa out here that are layered metals like you would find on the outside of a space shuttle.
Yeah.
As a heat shield.
Yeah. And they have, parts of, I think it's the Air Force. Their job is to go and collect UFO crashes. And so when you have people, like really serious people in this age of disclosure where they say that, yeah, UFOs are real and aliens are real. In age of disclosure, they actually talk about the fact that they have remains of an alien and they're not Nancy Pelosi. Sorry. You know what? I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. Go ahead, Joan.
Why are there so many alien or UFO crashes? Like, they don't come here to crash on the ground, right?
No.
You would think that if they've got enough technology to fly through solar systems and universes to get here.
It's funny you should ask that, Joan.
Yeah.
So Joan asked the question, why is it that aliens are crashing? Because, they have, in age of disclosure, they talked about how we have been able to recover alien UAP crashes. And so part of that, they say, is that, number one, accidents happen no matter, where you're from. But number two, they actually believe that part of what the aliens are doing, Joan, is they are leaving wreckage in various parts of the world to see who can reverse engineer them quicker. So, for example, for example, they leave, and I'm paraphrasing here, but they leave America, the superpower, right? They leave us some wreckage. They maybe leave some wreckage for China to find. They may leave some wreckage for, I don't know, France to find. They're not going to be able to do anything with it.
Yeah.
And they are watching us to see how we react to these wreckages.
And you should see them walk on water.
Walk on water?
See, I think this is just a scam.
A scam?
Yes. This is ridiculous.
We're going to have to, strap her to a chair and tape her eyes open, make her look at the evidence. It's irrefutable that these things are happening.
Hey, you know what, Sam? Go ahead and kill the music. Joan just killed the buzz. What is wrong with you, Joan? Can't you just play along for the bit?
I'm sorry. I just think it's dumb. What? Why are we focused on this?
You know what, Joan? I want you to watch Age of Disclosure. I do. You know what? How we assign... I'll watch something for you this week. Here we go. I'll watch something for you this weekend if you watch Age of Disclosure, and we'll come back on Monday.
Did we ever find out if she watched 10 Things I Hate About You?
No, she didn't. I already know she didn't, because she would have brought it up.
I did not.
Joan, I will tell you let's do a quick Daily Dan poll.
So she can't be trusted, is what I'm hearing, to do her homework.
Let's do a Daily Dan poll. Do you agree with Obama that aliens are real? By the way, Donald Trump was asked about all of this. This is what he said.
Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
So aliens are real?
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
You see, Trump knew what to say. Trump said, I don't know if they're real. Obama, who, as you know, Joan, always paints himself as the smartest guy in politics.
Oh, yeah. And in the room and everywhere else.
Yeah. And he stupidly threw down classified information. Here's more Donald Trump.
He made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, if the president can declassify anything that he wants to, so if you want to make an announcement.
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
We know illegal aliens are real.
Yeah, illegal.
Oh, yeah, most certainly we do know illegal aliens most certainly exist. So the president, he then releases this. Based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, and unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. So, Joan, let me ask you this. Is there anything that would be presented to you that would make you say, well, you know what? Maybe the truth is out there, and maybe the truth is that aliens do indeed exist?
Yes, an alien. Present me an alien, one that's alive, one that touches my finger and says, go home.
Oh,
things
stop.
like that.
Okay. What about like irrefutable scientific data of things that cannot be explained by science? Interpreting the math and experiments done. I know you're familiar with how sound waves work, and you know, you're going to sit there and say that that's just malarkey when stuff like that interferes with equipment.
Your inner Biden coming out of you?
They've
Yes.
got these orbs.
I am going to call it malarkey.
They've got these orbs that are, what would you say, Sam? They're defying the laws of physics.
Yeah, they move in ways that no other craft can move. There's in this show, that Skinwalker Ranch, they have a spinoff now called Beyond Skinwalker. They go to other places in North America, and they found a guy who can almost command these orbs to appear. In fact, they put him in a copper room underground, and
He's
when
an
one
orb whisperer.
flashed above the sky, he pointed to the ceiling, and they were able to capture it on their security footage. I mean, this particular individual has a very weird bond with these things, but they are measurable in certain light spectrums, and they are measurable with how they move, and it just defies all physics.
0390 Joan says the chick is just a
Yeah.
doubting Thomas from Jesus's crew. Wow.
Yeah.
That's not nice. We
That's
love
not nice at all.
Joan. Come on, man.
And a lot of other people are saying that they're with me. They agree with me that this is dumb and it's a distraction, and it's just insane. I think it's insane.
Okay.
There is no credible evidence. There's no physical evidence. We're not seeing it. Unless you can present something solid to us, that the orb.
But it's on video, Joan.
No,
Have you not
no,
seen
no.
the videos?
I want to touch it. I want to touch it myself. I want to see it with my eyes.
So you would
face
think
to
that,
face.
that scientists are just fabricating all their data when they run experiments and things interfere with it, right?
I think that there's all kinds of things that could interfere with it.
Well, actually, no. There's certain technologies that if they interfered would show that there was an interference recorded somewhere, not just missing data points that vanish into thin air. My next question to you, Joan, what's your take on ghosts and spirits?
I do believe that there are spirits, but I don't believe in ghosts. I believe in a spiritual realm, like completely and positively and without a doubt.
So that energy can exist and formulate and do whatever, but aliens are just off the table for you.
Yes.
All right, so what are people saying on the Daily Dan poll on YouTube? We just put it up like 3 minutes ago. I want to know what the YouTubers in the chat think about whether or not aliens are real. And, I mean, listen, by the way, people are screaming, and I understand, PSYOP, right? I get it. I know it's a distraction from Epstein. I know it's a distraction from the economy. I know all of that. But I just think that it opens up a conversation yet again that, really picked up after the age of disclosure and the stories that we've been covering for really especially the last 5 years of these orbs up in the sky that very serious military people have put their reputations on the line to come out and talk about. What did the super texters say and so forth?
The YouTube poll has got a 60% favorability into the yes, aliens are real.
All right, there you go.
Mark Green wants you to know, Joan, that you're lying to yourself.
Okay.
Another person says that Joan is an alien, and she has been she has been programmed to deny the existence of her own species.
Right under my makeup, I'm green.
It is.
I'm a little greenish.
It is 7:23 on Nashville's Morning News. No, that's just the lighting in the studio here. It makes all of us look green. Hope you're doing well. And we've had another attack on law enforcement. This happened, I'm still trying to figure out if this happened Wednesday night or last night. I think what happened is it happened Wednesday night and then it got reported on Thursday afternoon, but it was an attack on law enforcement. Listen to this.
Boise Police Department and the Meridian Fire Department responded to a 911 call reporting that a Canyon County paramedics ambulance had been stolen from the ambulance bay at St. Luke's West.
So dude steals an ambulance from the local hospital there in Idaho. He drives to a nearby DHS office. He pulls in and he starts pouring gasoline all over the vehicle. He wanted to set it on fire to basically act as a bomb to destroy that DHS office.
Investigators believe the suspect poured an accelerant inside and around the outside of the ambulance. At this time, it appears the suspect was unable to ignite the accelerant before being scared off by responding agencies. We want to emphasize that this was a serious criminal act.
And one of the things that we spoke about earlier is the fact that an ambulance, it's got oxygen in it. So if he was able to light the gasoline and obviously the oxygen on the ambulance as well, that would have been a massive explosion. And by the way, the voice you're hearing is Meridian, Idaho Police Chief Tracy Bestoriccia. So now you've got the ATF, the DHS, Idaho State Police, and the FBI all investigating this. The guy was spooked away. He was scared off because law enforcement arrived and he ran before he could really get the fire going. But luckily, obviously, nobody was hurt. But, you know, we all know what's going on in this country. Attacks against DHS include, of course, y'all know, doxing, online harassment, extremists targeting ICE personnel as well. So remember what DHS is. The Department of Homeland Security. It houses ICE and the Border Patrol, FEMA, TSA, and the rest of them. But obviously, everyone is focused on ICE and the Border Patrol these days. And as I said, there have been attacks against them. You know, just earlier this week here in Middle Tennessee, just the thought of a detention center in Lebanon brought out hostility, anger, protest, and the rest of that nonsense. So now there has been, listen to this, because it keeps going up. A few weeks ago, there was a 3,200% increase in death threats against ICE. That is now up to 8,000. There has been an 8,000% increase in death threats against ICE. That is nearly triple the number from the last 25 years.
There's been a lot of rhetoric surrounding the Department of Homeland Security leasing office space at this location. And comments on social media such as property damage isn't violence is absolutely false. This was absolutely an act of violence. And if the suspect had not been interrupted, there is no doubt this building would have been burned, putting the lives of first responders and others at risk.
Right. I mean, listen, here in Nashville, we, of course, have DHS leasing office space. And, you know, this police chief, clearly he is spot on about the rhetoric. And I've been seeing more and more of these types of videos out there. Listen to this. This woman absolutely unhinged.
And I've seen innocent people being killed by ICE. What the are you guys doing? I hope you see this video, because I'm going to tell America right here, right now, this ends when we stand up and we start shooting back. Get your guns, get your militia, get your people. And when ICE comes to town, don't give them a chance. Get a sniper and shoot. Blow their faces off. Watch them drown in their own blood. Because America will be great again when we realize that we're the ones who make the rules, people. If you don't like the motherfuckers that are in there, then take them the out. Because if you don't, they're going to take us the out. Stand up for your goddamn rights. Stop being pussies. Stop yelling and asking them what's wrong with them. What's wrong with them is they've been given power that does not belong to them. Because we act like we're scared little bitches. Let them know who's boss and take the motherfuckers out. It's as serious and as simple as that. Pick up your guns, end the tyranny, and blow their asses away. Game over.
Yeah, so that is illegal. We talked about this earlier. U.S. law prohibits true threats and incitement to imminent lawless action. Calling for the murder of federal agents on social media is indeed illegal. and she'll be happy to know that the Trump administration has now announced that Tom Homan, he is announcing the ICE playbook and everything that they did in Minnesota, the targeted response. They are now going to be expanding that nationwide. So the targeted enforcement of ICE, that is going to be expanded nationwide. What we saw in Minnesota when Tom Homan came in is the playbook moving forward. So she's going to be really happy with that. But here's the deal. That woman can get arrested for doing that. You can face up to 10 years in federal prison for explicitly urging people to kill government employees. And that kind of rhetoric almost always meets that threshold. So, 10 years in federal prison, fines, probation, supervised release as well, all part of that consequence. So you have that person, that crazed person in the news today. That, of course, went viral. I also want to play for you this political ad from a woman running to be the lieutenant governor for the state of Illinois. Listen to this.
F Trump. Vote Juliana.
F Trump. Vote Juliana.
F Trump. Vote Juliana.
They said it, not me. I'm Juliana Stratton, and I'm proud to have lived my whole life on the south side of Chicago. I'm not scared of a wannabe dictator. I'm running for Senate to stand up to Donald Trump. I'll abolish ICE and hold Trump accountable for the crimes he's committed. Just like they said, F
Trump.
F Trump.
F Trump.
Vote Juliana.
That's why I approve this message.
I mean, wow. At the end, by the way, you had Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker standing next to her saying that he supports this vile woman and this ad as well. That is somebody running for the lieutenant governor for the state of Illinois, and that kind of nasty rhetoric and vitriol is endorsed by Illinois' Governor J.B. Pritzker. And so I'm at the point now where I truly believe that the left clearly has no bottom. And so then, just to take this segment full circle. So with all of that rhetoric, is it actually any real surprise that we have attacks against law enforcement, attacks against ICE, attacks against DHS and the Border Patrol up 8,000%? So sad. I want to welcome on into the program The Hill's Lexi Lonas Cochran. Really interesting angle, new angle, at least to me, of the Epstein files. Colleges are now facing scrutiny over donations made to Jeffrey Epstein. Really interesting. So, Lexi, really appreciate you joining us. So with all of these Epstein documents coming out, one thing that has been revealed is that there have been a lot of these colleges and individual professors that have been asking for donations from none other than Jeffrey Epstein. And it raises a lot of questions, of course, obviously, before he passed. But what's interesting is a lot of these colleges and professors, they're asking for these donations. They were asking for these donations after it was well known that he was a pedophile and a child trafficker.
Yeah, and I guess another thing that's also interesting about this is it's not typically common for individual professors to be searching for donations from people, from just, billionaires, wealthy people like Epstein. They typically go through government contracts or foundations because that typically gives them more money and is more worth their time. But a lot of them have said, the only contact I had with Epstein was just for money, and I didn't know. But like you said, there were some people who, was talking with Epstein well after into 2013, even 2017.
The Hill's Lexi Lonas Cochran joining us here. You're the education reporter for The Hill. And Lexi, speaking the obvious, just because these folks had contact with Epstein, again, doesn't mean they were involved in any kind of nefarious behavior with underage girls. But, that being said, these colleges essentially are being accused of basically asking for and receiving money from a pedophile. I want to go through some of these. One Yale professor, a guy by the name of Nicholas Christak, asked for donations for his lab, going back to what you were talking about. Bard College in New York, a guy named Leon Botstein is also named. I did not see Larry Summers in your article, the Harvard president for 5 years. Epstein did donate to Harvard during Summers' tenure there. Do we know how many universities ultimately gave to, asked Jeffrey Epstein for money, and how many of these universities he actually gave to? And have these universities actually offered to give the money back or maybe donate that amount of money to charity?
I don't have an exact number. I mean, we know there were a lot of schools with ties to Epstein, either through direct donations or through professor contacts, and a lot of, the Ivy League schools, Harvard, Yale. We've seen state schools as well, Ohio State, and I have not seen any schools saying, we are going to give that money back. We have seen them do investigations against professors who had connections with Epstein's, and some schools have taken actions against those professors, but in terms of monetary donations, at least I haven't seen schools looking to, donate that money.
So have these schools, I mean, a lot of this stuff just came out. Are they reacting to this? Are they apologizing for it? I mean, some of these schools are being attacked, and some of these individual professors especially are being attacked.
Yeah, so it depends on the school here. A lot of schools who have been revealed in these files are saying they're doing investigations right now, especially with the professor connections there. Some schools might have not known that individuals were in contact with Epstein, so they're currently doing investigations into that. But a lot of those are ongoing right now.
One of the things I thought, last question here, that colleges have this gift acceptance rules, which you wrote about, the gift acceptance rules, which means that if you solicit a donor, then you have to have the university's approval. Now, I mean, people who have been following the Epstein story, 2005, the accusations and the charges, 2008, he was convicted. So do you know if the gift acceptance rules were followed in some of these cases? Because I just have a hard time believing, and maybe I'm just Pollyannish or naive, but I can't imagine that a university would approve of a professor going after money from a convicted pedophile.
Yeah, so it seems very unlikely in a lot of these situations. It can be hard to enforce the gift accepted school, just because there are so many faculty at some schools, and especially if it's the beginning of, I'm just reaching out to talk with them. Some faculty might have not reported it to the schools, so it's very unlikely. Some schools knew. We don't know exactly, but I would say a lot of them didn't, because the only time they really have to know is whenever a donation is actually given, because the school approves it. But a lot of the times Epstein never did actually donate, so it's pretty unlikely.
Interesting. All right. Very much appreciate you joining us here on Super Talk 99.7. That is the Hills education reporter, Lexi Lonas Cochran.